Well, well, well. Look who rocks up to AEW in Winnipeg. We'll get into it and all of the action from AEW on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Well, it started with Tony Schiavone was about to announce MJF and Kenny Omega's contract signing before he was cut off by a familiar theme song, Judas. Yes, Chris Jericho returned to AEW. Literally a few short hours ago. However, however, it was in Winnipeg. I was expecting, they had nearly shy of 5,000 there. I was expecting a huge reaction. And I don't know if Jericho was as well, because he didn't, um, it didn't, he didn't look that happy. Now, I wasn't sure if it was to do, if there was a hitch with the pyro because his fire went off, but he normally has another one and that didn't go off. I'm not sure whether he was expecting a louder reaction or whether he was annoyed with the pyro not going off. He didn't look happy. To be fair, I was at home going, well, where's the crowd noise? Where is it? You know, where is everything where is this big fanfare? Why are we not, why are they not going mad? I gather. Um, you know, it just felt a bit disappointing to me. And that is, a little bit disappointing from my perspective. Anyway, Jericho mutts two words. Not suck it, not thank you. I'm home. And that was it. That was Chris Jericho. He was back at Winnipeg, AEW. I'm home. A bit further than that. So there we go. Now, in from there, we have to go to a backstage brawl. That was kicking off on Dynamite, and that was Will Ospreay, Moxley, Yuta was involved. Um, Crazy stuff with Ospreay. More to come with him. He's obviously got Pac um, later on in the show. Right. Now we can finally get on with the contract signing between MJF and Kenny Omega, and this quickly descended, as you can imagine, with MJF. He's never one short of a word, not necessarily a harsh word, and you know, he did call Omega a fake idiot, a false idol first. Sorry, who would be better off dead, hinting at diverticulitis. He also mentioned that something like a gust of wind could injure Kenny. It's just. But Omega then sort of took the mic and said he's missing 24 inches of his intestine, but he'd prefer that over losing his balls. And that was because Mike Bailey come out. Mike Bailey come out and basically said that, he, if it wasn't for Kenny Omega, there'd be no AEW and thus no Max or Jacob Friedman, and challenged MJF to a match on Dynamite. Apologies, I'm still not quite there, but I'm getting there slowly. And anyway, reluctantly, MJF accepts that challenge, and that would be the main event from Dynamite this week. That's so interesting. But we start off with Brody King, Jungle Jack Perry, and the aforementioned Kenny Omega against the Demand. The trios action with AEW, it never ever disappoints. I will say that. Really fun opening contest between these three. I feel as if the Demand have always been together. They work so well as a unit. It does feel like, although they haven't been together massively long, probably a year, 18 months, it just works with them. Chemistry's on point. They work the unit, the unity as a team really works there. And I come up against three guys that don't always work together. Um, but nevertheless, Omega and Co. I don't think we're ever losing. I don't think Kenny Omega was losing this match. Put it that way. And it was the aforementioned Kenny Omega planting Ricochet with the one-winged angel and picks up the victory for his team in this. And I do like the fact that Prophecy Pete, the Brody King hit the suicide dive in this as well. Um, well, that was a nice little side note. So Willow Nightingale has issued an open challenge for her TNT Championship tonight on Collision. Collision being taped, Collision being on tonight. Of course, that'd be interesting to see. We go backstage to Renee and Copeland, and sorry, Renee, Christian, and Copeland, and it was quite funny. Um, as they arrive, Renee tries to get their thoughts. But Cope was saying like Renee's just doing a job, but anyone that gets in their way is going to get will get chairs. And as he said that, Christian attempts to swing a chair at Renee, and Cope stops him in his tracks, and then asks Christian why he would target Renee as they head towards FTR locker room. We find them in the locker room after the break, and it's not FTR that's in there. It is Trent Barretta and Rocky Romero, and they just took them out with chair shots. And that will send. And Cope was like, that will send a message to Dax and Cash Wheeler, uh, which which obviously they got their big match at Dynasty coming up next weekend. Really looking next weekend. We got Rebellion, Dynasty, and then of course the weekend after that we got 2 nights of WrestleMania. Whew, lots going on. Anyway, just as Will Ospreay is making his way to the ring, he gets ambushed by Pac, and of course, he's Will Ospreay's only just come back from a serious neck injury. So what do? You brain bust him on the floor. That's exactly what you do. And the AEW doctors are all there, and you know Will Ospreay gets up and, despite the warnings from the medical staff, gets in the ring against Pac. This match was so different from the previous Ospreay Pac early that we've seen over the years, and it's really nice that they've changed it up a little bit. Um, I did like the early, that brainbuster on the floor. I really thought that was good. I did like the fact that Will. There was a little bit of sort of, not say hesitation as such, but like there wasn't so much majorly flashy stuff. There was a nice little bits here and there, but it was good to see Will change up his arsenal a little bit. And funnily enough, the finish of the match was Pac had Osprey in the brutalizer submission, and Osprey rolled it up for a win, which was really nice. It was good to see a change up. Nice to see like Will winning with a roll up, just because obviously he was spent. He had that match with Pac. He already had the brain buster on the outside of the ring, so he was really Cup of Joe, by the way. He was really selling the neck, which was really, really good. Um, and then kind of like catches him off guard for the victory. I like that. But it was after the match, Pac was targeting Osprey's neck with additional shots. Osprey did hit the hidden blade as then Wheeler and Garcia gang up on him. Claudio brings in a chair. He places it on the neck of Osprey. Moxley finally appears, teases stomping on it. Um, but then decides to grab a mic, and he blamed Osprey for his misery, but he says to Osprey to use your head before he loses it. There we go. That was but I did enjoy the fact that was a different match from the ones that we've seen over the years between the two. I will be interested to see what happens at Dynasty with Osprey and Mox. We're all expecting Osprey to pick up the victory, but it's just a way of seeing how he picks up the victory. We had trios women's action next. Mina and the Brawling Birds, Jamie Hayter, Alex Windsor against the Triangle of Madness. Solid, again, solid. The Brawling Birds and Mina did pick up the victory with the Haterade Lariat on Julia Hart. It was great to see the Brawling Birds, carry on their dominance. Thekla was never eating the pinfall in this because if she starts eating pinfalls this early, we got a problem. So it's good that we don't. It's good that she didn't eat the pinfall. She was protected. She kept strong. That was good. Who's next for her though is something that I am intrigued by. We have to wait and see. We didn't really get anything. Um, we didn't really get anything too major on that this week, so we're interested to what we see. But Darby Allin then come out ahead of the main event between Speedball and MJF, and he says he hasn't met God yet, so that leaves him face to face with the devil. We know who the devil is. He did say that he hopes that Omega beats MJF for the title. He doesn't care. In fact, he doesn't care who beats Friedman, as long as they put an end to his egotistical run. That brings out Don Callis, and he says MJF gave him a ton of money to take out Darby Allin, but he did say that Friedman will give Darby Allin a shot if he beats a hand-picked member of the Don Callis family, and that person is Andrade El Idolo, who was just as surprised as everybody else by that, which was interesting. And as Don Callis started explaining the situation to him, the rest of the Don Callis family, all 7,000 of them, try and jump into the ring and attack Darby. Archer gets hit with a skateboard before Brody King and Jack Perry arrive to make the save. Out comes Kenny Omega. He come face to face with Darby Allin before the main event. Speedball Mike Bailey versus MJF. Match of the night. Absolutely. It was. I say that all the matches were really good this week, and these two managed to top Osprey and Pac. Mike Bailey has continued to prove why AEW is the right place for him, without a shadow of a doubt. He is a natural fit for AEW, and he's showing that week in, week out. With NJF, he rarely wrestles on Dynamite these days, but every time he does, it really is a banger, and this was no different. Again, it probably wasn't uh, what was I going to say? It was probably obvious who was going to win this. MJF was never going to lose this close to Dynasty, and he did pin him with the Heat Seeker to get the job done. But still, Mike Bailey, fantastic effort, and really good outing for him. I must say the in-ring action was the highlight, of this week's Dynamite. Jericho, I think it was the pyro botch that, may have annoyed him a little bit there. And Schiavone looked frustrated about getting cut off. Maybe that was a production error at the same time. I don't know. Jericho should have gotten a far bigger reaction, in my opinion, than what he did get. The Winnipeg didn't bring a lot of energy for him, if I'm honest with you. Um, But there we go. That is what it is. It's done now. Nothing. Hopefully next week or Dynamo, maybe Collision. I don't know. MJF referencing Kenny's health issues. It was on the line a little bit. Really on the line. And I just wonder how actually healthy Kenny Omega actually is. Diverticulitis. Brock Lesnar's got it, and he rarely wrestles. But Kenny wrestles a totally different style to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar will wrestle a 2-minute match. Boom, done. Kenny's are a lot longer. So, you know, anyway, interesting. Let's see what happens. The outcome of next week's Dynasty, we've got a lot more people getting involved in the world title as well, which is great to see. We're not sure, we're not thinking who's next. It's like, well, we're thinking of who's next in a good way. Darby Allin's there. He wants a shot at the championship. He looks like he's a bit obviously next in line, but he does have to get through Andrade to get there. And the more they play on that, the more I think that MJF walks out of Dynasty AEW World Heavyweight Champion next Sunday. But fully entertaining Dynamite as ever. Really, really enjoyed it. Look out for an announcement today on our social platforms. A really exciting announcement. Really looking forward to sharing that all with you. Something that we've been working on for a while, and it's finally come to fruition. So keep a check on that and everything else with us at HTT Buckle on everywhere. We'll be back a bit later on with the NWA review with Miss Fiona Lochran. Yes, she manages to watch it, so we're going to get it done a bit later, and that'll be out for you all this evening. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye. And stay elite, everybody.